Yeah, if anybody else wants to sign in, go ahead. This, okay, did you have something?
Oh, I was just saying, did he want to speak?
Well, I'm gonna read the summary first.
Oh, okay.
This local law shall be known as Local Law 1 of 2021, a local law to allow enrolled volunteer firefighters and volunteer ambulance workers to be eligible for a real property tax exemption. This local law provides that a primary residence owned by an enrolled member of an incorporated volunteer fire company, volunteer fire fire department, or incorporated volunteer ambulance service shall be exempt from taxation to the extent of 10% of the assessed value of such property for town purposes, exclusive of special assessments provided. However, that such exemption shall in no event exceed $3,000 multiplied by the latest state equalization rate for the assessing unit in which such real property is located, and further subject to the limitations placed thereupon. Ken, you the only one signing?
Yeah.
I got something I'll read here real quick. The New Haven Town Board is the controlling authority at all public hearings and town board meetings. We will not relinquish that authority at any time. If you have been recognized as having the floor, you may speak for 3 minutes. No questions will be answered by myself or any other person, as your time belongs to you, and it will not be infringed upon. Please remain on topic. Verbal interruptions, shouting, or other outbursts, as well as slanderous or obscene language, signs, and movement are prohibited. If, at any time while you are speaking, you hear the gavel being struck, you will stop talking immediately to find out what you said that's not allowed. Once direction is given, you may continue. Any person that continues to speak over the gavel, ignoring the authority of the chairperson, will be done speaking for the evening. Please be respectful when someone has the floor. If you speak without being recognized as having the floor, then you are out of order. Any person determined to be out of order will be issued a warning. Upon receiving a second warning, the person will be asked to leave. Go ahead, Ken.
Well, I'm all set, Dan. I just,
Oh,
I signed in strictly
Okay,
in case
okay.
I have something to say, but I guess.
Nobody has anything on this local law, you know? Okay. We got some questions.
Okay.
Actually, we want to, we can leave it open in case afterwards, when we're done talking, if somebody wants to
Okay.
speak, I'll allow it. It seems there's a couple things that have been deleted from the original, as far as the 20-year.
Yep. So, I was looking at the county,
And I looked at your prior
Okay.
one, because the town's prior tax exemption law specifically is it the lifetime? What section? Because there was language in here regarding this not being a lifetime exemption. Is that what you're?
that's what we're.
Okay, yeah, cause I looked at what you previously had adopted.
No, we never
The
adopted.
town-
We didn't adopt
There,
anything.
there was a town law,
From,
Somebody gave us a copy of one, I think, from another town. Another was one filed years ago.
yeah, it
Oh,
was,
there was.
yeah,
Mhm.
it was a number of years ago. I wanna say it was like in 2000, was it 2003? The town
Yeah, I think so.
prior had one, so I looked at what you had before to see like what updates, but that's why, cause you specifically had that clause in there the last time the town had the law.
Yeah, but we don't want that I wanna make sure that
Okay, so
these
you-
guys that have been in the fire department for 20 years are
You do want that.
given
want
that
someone-
tax break,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the, unremarried spouses, just like we do with,
Military.
military exemption, I think they should be in there too.
Okay, this one's right in. So you want to mirror the county with the
Yeah.
section of the unremarried spouses of deceased?
Yep.
Okay,
And
And there was a spot about the,
retired to 20 years.
that, the retired in 20 years, and also the,
It'd be
If
section
someone-
7A and B both.
and the one where if someone's killed in the line of duty too, the spouse. There was one in there about if a firefighter was killed in the line of duty, that the spouse, unremarried spouse, still is able to retain
It's right here.
the exemption.
so doesn't see on the, so on the county, it's page 3,
Yes,
A and B.
section 7A and B both.
Okay.
And then on the next page, it's just section A
Yeah, all the
regarding the unmarried
unmarried spouse, okay,
spouses of deceased volunteer firefighters.
okay. Yeah, I didn't include that because that wasn't in the previous town law, so I didn't wanna just leave it the counties if you had something, but we can add those A, B, and A, B, and A. On page 3 and 4. Okay.
I don't know why we wouldn't mirror it.
No.
We should mirror what.
Yeah, what we had a long time ago was, that was old, this
Way
is something
before
that
us.
was
I didn't even know.
reintroduced this last year, and we wanna make sure that
To also make it go longer in 2025, if you're the county.
what's that? Sorry.
Would it make it last longer than 2025? If you're the
The-
county?
The current real property exemption is through 2025, and then
Are you saying you want it to be longer? Can we make it longer? Yeah.
But
So it doesn't
under
expire.
our PTL, it's only, the law is only in place and it's set to expire in December 2025, the county law. So, or not the county, the state law, so that, you have the state law that gives you authority to have this law.
Can you have that law without the authority of the state?
I don't think you can.
So we
I can-
will have to renew it every year, is that?
It's not every year, just this, the RPTL was, amended in the end of 2021. So that's when this initially should have been done, so then it would have been for a longer period of time, so it wouldn't seem as if, hey, we just adopted it and now the law expires. So it's been out there for
Right.
a couple of years. Yeah, so that's why it seems like this is yearly, but it just happens to be that you're
What's,
starting it towards the end of,
so at 2025, if the state renews it, what's their normal? Do they do 5 years?
I
Do you know that?
I think the last, even the one before, the town one, it was 2003 to, I think, 2007 or 8, I think it was a 5-year.
Okay. So it looks like that every 5 years we should be paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have any questions about any of this?
Do you want us to, should we read so they know what we're
Yeah, go ahead.
adding? The clauses that we would be adding say, any enrolled member of an incorporated volunteer fire company, volunteer fire department, or incorporated voluntary ambulance service who accrues more than 20 years of active service and is so certified by the authority having jurisdiction for the incorporated volunteer fire company, fire department, or incorporated voluntary ambulance service shall be granted the 10% exemption as authorized by RPTL Section 466A for the remainder of his or her life as long as his or her primary residence is located within the county of Oswego. The next section involves the unremarried spouses of volunteer firefighters or volunteer ambulance workers killed in the line of duty. An exemption may be an exemption by an enrolled member of an incorporated fire company, department, ambulance service. To such deceased enrolled members, unremarried spouse may continue or reinstate if such member is killed in the line of duty, provided however that such unmarried spouse is certified by the authority having jurisdiction for the incorporated fire company, department, ambulance service as an unremarried spouse of an enrolled member of such incorporated volunteer fire company, fire department, or incorporated voluntary ambulance service who was killed in the line of duty, and such deceased volunteer had been an enrolled member for at least 5 years, and such deceased volunteer had been receiving the exemption prior to his death. And then the next section would be unremarried spouses of deceased voluntary firefighters or voluntary ambulance workers. An exemption by an enrolled member of one of those entities may be continued or reinstated to such deceased enrolled member's unremarried spouse, provided that, again, such unremarried spouse is certified by the authority having the jurisdiction of the company, department, or ambulance service as an unmarried spouse. The language mirrors the language in the previous section about having been an enrolled member for at least 20 years. And the deceased individual had been receiving the exemption. So if the spouse was receiving the exemption, they passed away, then the unremarried spouse can continue to receive that tax exemption.
Ken, go ahead.
So, for the, as far as that serving 20 years, would this be any of our past members who have served 20 years that are now currently retired or no longer a member, or would you have to serve 20 years?
Will that be starting now, or is that retroactive?
Let me look, I don't wanna tell you the wrong thing. Well, the list would be active members.
I think as long as they're on the list of members, and what section 5 on page 2 talks about the new volunteer fire company and the fire department, and or will complete a list to the,
Yeah, with the respective dates of service for such incorporated fire company. Yeah, I read this as it would be retroactive.
It would. Mike, you got something?
And thanks for recognizing me. Questions just come to my mind. Is there any provision in the law that would provide for a member that technically, that gets disabled and permanently disabled in the line of duty? In other words, you know, if he's only been in a year or 2 years, he qualifies, but now he's no longer an active member because he got permanently disabled in the line of duty. It
That's a
seems
good
like there should
question.
be some.
The deceased is covered.
The
Right.
deceased.
Yeah,
or-
deceased is covered,
Yeah,
but
there's
does more
nothing
have to
here.
be somebody permanently disabled?
I mean, if a fireman gets
Right, but,
paralyzed,
yeah,
he should definitely be entitled to it,
The
in my
key-
opinion.
yeah,
If he's,
he's hurt and can't take it anymore.
The key to that is if you do something, it is in the line of duty.
right,
In other words, it happens on the job,
right,
on a call.
for sure.
That I have to look and see if that's authorized by the real property tax law. Because this doesn't, it addresses, like we said, killed in the line of duty, but not injured in the line of duty. There's nothing in here regarding that.
Do we have to follow what the state hands us, or could we add that in there?
Well, that's how you're able to do this, because they're allowing you to do the exemptions. Because
Alright.
your exemption is authorized by the state law for your property tax exemption.
Cause they don't wanna lose any money.
Correct. But that's a good question.
We get a roster from you guys every year, right, as far as who the members are, right? Cause we'll have to communicate with our assessor.
We would give that roster to our assessor,
I
right?
haven't gotten one this year.
You haven't gotten one this year?
Yeah, I'll look into that. That's a good question as to why there isn't an exemption.
Can we pass this tonight with a contingency that if that's available to us, we could add that later?
That we could add that and we could adopt it, adding that if permissible under, sorry, I'm trying to look at you and I keep looking at that.
It's okay.
Adopt it, adding that provision, so long as it's compliant with the RPTL. And I'll see if there's an exemption that's allowed for, cause it does make sense, if you're
Yeah.
injured in the line of duty,
For sure, yeah.
but not deceased, that's still important.
If it isn't allowed in this one, I strongly urge that you pass it and so forth, but then petition the state or whoever body it is to take and try to include that into it and then law. Because to be honest with you, a member of the department is more apt to get permanently disabled than killed.
Right,
And they're trying to help the town and everything, so as I say, if it isn't able to be incorporated now, move forward, but then supply a formal petition.
that's a good question, Mike, thanks.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Well, it's a public hearing, that's what we're supposed to be doing. So who would we reach out to for this, the Secretary of State?
Well, I'm looking at, I've got a section of the RPTL, the one specifically referenced in here, I have a copy of it in my files. I'll look through that. I guess if you wanna keep moving, we can close the hearing and I'll look
Yeah.
and see.
Yeah, we can close. Does anybody else have anything before we close the, yeah, Ken?
Yeah, and is there one exemption per household, or if there were 2 firefighters? For example, would you get 2 exemptions?
In the same house?
Yeah.
No,
And if like you own 2 properties, it's only on the main property
Right.
correct.
where you live, like if you had a camp on the water, your exemption is only on the home, your residence.
So if you have two firefighters that are married, you'd still only get 1 exemption.
It's based
Yeah.
on the value of the
Okay.
property, not,
see your wheels turn. We have the whole family join the department.
I think you got a couple right there.
Go ahead, Mike.
That poses another question, not to take and deliver and so forth, but you got a member that belongs to the fire department and a member in the household that belongs to the ambulance corps. And both of their names are on the deed of the property. Do they qualify for separate exemption?
I don't think so.
I don't think
From
it-
what she just said, I
I
wouldn't
don't think
think
it
so.
would.
No.
So,
I'll verify that, that's a good
I've got
question.
6:25 right now. Councilman Joe Sperino just joined us.
Maybe that goes down.
I thought he was listening.
No, I'm pretty
No.
sure he has to do that.
I'm just-
So are we ready for a motion?
We gotta close out the public hearing. Does anybody else have anything before we close it out? That was a good question, Mike. That was a good one. Okay, well, how about a motion to?
I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing
I'll second
for
that.
local law number 1 of 2024.
Perfect. Roll call.
Curcio,
Aye.
Prosser,
Aye.
Spurino,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Barney.
Aye. Okay. I have. Okay, I just made it here in time for the meeting, huh? We've got 6:26. Call to order the January regularly scheduled New Haven Town Board meeting. Roll call.
Curcio,
Here.
Prosser,
Here.
Spurino,
Here.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Barney.
Here. Okay. We already did the pledge. Oh, I forgot. If anybody would like a water, there's some in that cooler there. Help yourself. They're free. If you need a writing tablet or a pen, there's some over there on the shelf. We'll get through this before we get back to the minutes. We've all had a chance to review them. Does anybody have any questions on the minutes?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes of the organizational meeting and the December town board meeting.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Curcio,
Aye.
Prosser,
Aye.
Spurino,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Barney.
Aye. Adjustment of journal entries. We've all reviewed them. Does anybody have anything on them?
I'll make a motion to accept the adjustment of journal entries.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Curcio,
Aye.
Prosser,
Aye.
Spurino,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Barney.
Aye. Audit of town bills. We've all reviewed them. Does anybody have any questions on them?
I'll make a motion that we accept the, town bills for District 1.
I'll second it.
Curcio,
Aye.
Prosser,
Aye.
Spurino,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Barney.
Aye. Okay. On to old business. Local law 1 of 2024. So, before we make a motion, we've got some amendments that we're going to attach to this. Do we want to just adopt the county copy that we got? You got that, right? Also, Mr. Prosser's question,
Yeah, I'm looking at your
if anyone is,
question right now.
you got it written down or no?
Cause, yeah, about the disabled.
Yeah, if someone's
in the line of-
disabled
yeah.
in the line of duty,
Yeah, I'm looking at the
What can we do?
RBTL right now.
move along, and you can
Yeah, and-
research that.
yeah.
If it's something that's available to us, we could all agree right now to have it added. Is
Yeah,
that
we
what you-
can add it, I'll pull it up on my phone and see if I can't find anything about that. And why don't we come back to that
Wanna come back to it?
at the end of the meeting?
We could do that. We'll Okay, let's move on to the whistleblower policy. Town of New Haven, requires town officials and employees to observe high standards of business and personal ethics in the conduct of their duties and responsibilities as employees and representatives of the town of New Haven. Excuse me. We must practice honesty and integrity in fulfilling our responsibilities and comply with all applicable laws and regulations. It is the responsibility of all town officials and employees to comply with the town code and town policies and to report violations or suspected violations in accordance with this whistleblower policy. We've all had a chance to review this. Does anybody have any questions about this whistleblower policy? We have a motion.
Before we make a motion,
Okay.
the town supervisor is the only individual that can do the investigation. And I would suggest that we have an alternate, okay, if the town supervisor is unavailable or has to recuse himself.
Right, well, we kinda do, it's the deputy supervisor, but we can list that person if you want.
I would think that we should list that,
Okay.
just so nobody gets the idea that it's a one-man band, so to say.
So the town supervisor or deputy supervisor. Okay.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions on this? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, to accept it.
I'll second it.
Curcio,
Aye.
Crosser,
Aye.
Spurino,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Barney.
Aye. Okay, IMA with the town of Mexico, over the equipment.
This is the one we tabled last.
Yes, one we tabled last month,
Mexico's attorney didn't have any objection to my revisions, there weren't many, I looked at the old agreement that was signed a few years ago, and there was a paragraph that was missing. So I added that back in there, and I think there was one other spot where something was missing, I don't know, just in the transposing of the document, but he had no objection to it.
we had a brief discussion about, like, if a piece of, I wish Bob was here, if a piece of equipment was borrowed with the operator, which we never do that, we never get into that situation.
And this, in looking at the history, because my predecessor used to represent the town of Mexico, it's the same one that has
Yeah.
always been signed. But now it actually matches what was missing.
Anybody else got any questions on that? Got a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Curcio,
Aye.
Crosser,
Aye.
Spurino,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Barney.
Noise ordinance committee. You guys met last night, is that correct, Fred?
Yes, a couple of things came to light, okay. One of them was, an individual from the town showed up with a, for lack of a better term, petition, handwritten, that dealt with some, noise problems that exist on County Route 35.
Right.
And so there's a list of 9 families that have made, in essence, a complaint. What can we do? So, and I'm sure.
I'm aware of this. This is what prompted this whole thing to begin with,
Right.
but, yeah, so you guys didn't get much done last night then, right?
No,
How's that started?
basically, we had, pretty much an open discussion, okay? There were some members of the public here, and there were 3 of the committee members here. And so we did have some open discussion. And, you know, there'd be some work to do because not everybody agrees that we should, and then there's people that, quite frankly, believe we should.
Right.
So,
Well, like everybody knows, we discussed this. This was visited back in 2017, because of the same exact person making the same type of noise. It never made it to a motion.
Right.
So, like I said before, the one thing that we never did is we never talked about a timeline, like nothing before 9 o'clock at night, or after 9 o'clock at night, or whatever, 8, 9 o'clock, before 6 or 7. But, well, we'll see what happens this time. Did you designate anyone yet as a secretary to keep notes?
no, I have not.
Michelle, is that something you're interested in?
I don't even know when the dates are or anything, no one's informed me, so
It's on a schedule that was
again,
generated by
members were supposed to be notified, so. I don't know if it's a day I have to work, if it's Mondays, I have to work on Monday nights.
It's the third, is it the third Mondays? Yeah, the third Monday.
No one asked me if it was convenient, so. it wouldn't be-
It's on at our organizational meeting, January 2nd, it was established that that would be the third
I would
Monday,
check
right?
with the committee members to see if it would work, and nobody ever asked me, so. I would if it was a day I was available, yeah.
Well, you guys don't have to go by any set schedule. If you wanna deviate from the schedule that
Yeah,
Jen generated, you can.
yeah, it's one of the things, that particularly when you're doing a volunteer committee, okay? And you have a cross-section of elected, appointed, and members of the public. Sometimes it's tough to fit, you know, we wind up doing it on Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock or something.
That's what I'm saying. If you guys wanna deviate from that schedule, you can.
Right.
Just make sure that everybody that's on the committee knows about it,
Right.
and the public.
And I'll need contact information for everyone.
Right. Okay, so,
And check with Jen as far as the availability of the room, because I think that was one of the reasons
Right.
why you said Monday, because this was.
Monday just happened to pop up.
Mhm.
okay, so we'll keep that on the agenda every month until that committee is dissolved and they make a recommendation to the town board.
You want me to keep the schedule still in place?
Why don't we leave it up to the committee members, when they can meet?
So you want me to have it taken down then?
Yeah, I guess. We'll leave it up to them when they can, because if one of them can't be here on Monday, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So let them work it out when they can get together.
And again, okay, while it's a volunteer committee and there's a mix of town elected officials, appointed officials, and the general public, doesn't mean that, okay, if you have 7 members, okay, and you only wind up with 4, that you can't have a meeting. Okay.
Yeah, there's no quorum that needs to be met.
Right.
It's,
No, but it needs
it's
to
a
be-
citizens committee, it's not a town board committee,
Right.
so. And you don't have to keep minutes, but it's a good idea to have somebody, keep notes.
Again, this will be somewhat involved because there are, when you take a look at both the state law and the state recommendations, there's an awful lot of entities that enter into this. Okay, there's things that are exempted, very simply, let's say the church bells. The church bells are not, okay, a noise that you can shut down. Okay, they're exempted, as are fire sirens and so on and so forth. But, again, it'll take some work, It's not just gonna fall out in 2 weeks or 2 meetings. Other than that,
Michelle, you got something? Go ahead.
Yeah, if I can say, any body that performs a necessary function of government is subject to all open meeting laws. This would be a body that's performing a function of government, creating this ordinance. It is subject to, minutes are required.
Yeah, you're correct on that, actually. But it's not required to keep minutes as far as by statute unless there's a town board quorum there. Okay. Anybody else got anything on that? We good there? Okay, on to new business, ARPA funds. So at the end of this year, end of '24, we have to have the money allotted for it, the ARPA funds that we got from the state. And by the end of '26, they have to be spent. So the end of this year, this calendar year that we're in, they have to be earmarked. The end of '26, they have to be spent. So, that sounds like a long ways off, but, at the pace that this town gets stuff done, it might as well be tonight. So, we'll start working on that. Mary and I went to a couple meetings here recently. There's a possibility that some of these funds could be spent on certain things that we could actually get reimbursed for.
Yeah.
So, that would be huge, but we have to start thinking about the ARPA funds. They gotta be earmarked by the end of this year, they gotta be spent by '26, so.
Can we have like a budget type meeting to talk about it? Like, you
Yeah,
know,
I
we do
would-
our budgets in the fall, like a workshop?
In the fall?
I
No,
wouldn't
I
wait
mean,
till
could
the
we,
fall.
I'm
Yes,
not saying
for
wait till
sure.
fall, but I'm saying
For
like
sure.
we do in the fall.
Yeah, we
But
absolutely
do
can.
it and have a workshop where we're
Yep.
all together,
Yep.
and we can kind of bounce some ideas off.
For sure. We can have more meetings than what we have scheduled. We could, you know, matter of fact, Mary talked about it a few years ago when she was on the board the first time, maybe having, you know, if we got a heavy workload going on, we could have meetings every other week.
And like a satellite meeting in between.
Yep.
That's something we all need to be talking about together. so.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure a lot of people, I'd actually like to get the community involved with it. Those are funds that we got
Sure.
that affect the entire town. I'd like to get some community involvement. I don't think it should just be up to us what we spend that money on.
And the biggest thing also is there's a group of things that we cannot spend it for.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they've made adjustments to that a couple different times now, 3-4 times they've adjusted it. Tracy's up on it pretty good. In the beginning, they said we couldn't spend the funds on anything that would affect our budget,
Yeah.
which was everything.
Everything
Tie your
affects our
hands on
budget.
So, any more on the ARPA funds?
So should we schedule a
We could.
workshop just to, I mean, it's gonna go fast.
It's gonna go fast.
And this is
for
already
sure.
January. so.
Yep. Very good.
Right now?
Schedule one right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or we won't do it, it'll be
Let's do
February.
it, you're right, cause then we won't hear it till next month.
Yep.
You wanna do it before next month's meeting?
Sure.
We could,
You basically
How
got
about-
a month before the meeting.
Like
you wanna stick to Tuesday nights?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
my,
that
that's
seems
night.
to work.
Um,
What do you
2
think?
weeks from now would be the 30th. 3 weeks from now, which would be 2 weeks before the next meeting, would be the 6th.
Wanna do it the 6th?
We'll do it the 6th, February 6th.
You can't think of anything that I gotta do on the 6th. That doesn't mean there isn't something I gotta do on the 6th, I just don't know what it is.
Works for me.
We'll call this the ARPA workshop.
I'm guessing we have to advertise it, right, because it's a meeting?
Yeah.
Can we have Tracy have the updated, list of things?
Yeah,
That we
I'll
can
have her
make
there.
sure we
I'll
have
make
that
sure she's at
available.
that.
Yeah, the sooner we can get that and
Yep.
peruse it, the better off we'll be, because,
What time do you wanna
February
do it?
6th is 6
6 o'clock. Okay. Good enough, we got that underway. The Tug Hill Conference, 33rd Annual Local Government Conference at the Turning Stone Conference Center, Thursday, May 2nd, 7:30 to 4:15. Anybody that wants to go to that, Ken? Anybody that's a town employee?
I think we usually authorize
Yeah, we do,
whoever
whoever
wants.
wants to go. Does anybody have any more on that?
No.
I'll probably go.
I can never go because I'm always working. I've always wanted to go.
I would say that there's a couple of things. The all-day conference, okay, that's fine and dandy. But I think also this infrastructure roundtable would be important for some of us to attend.
You're looking at me, you want me to take the day off from work? Say what's on your mind.
If you'd like to take the day off from work, that's fine by me. I mean, you know,
Okay.
I won't force you to
Yeah,
stay.
it's a long one. I think we usually authorize the spending of that money.
Yeah,
so
we do.
Make a motion
Well,
to.
we do.
I think we should have a couple of people there.
Well, if I go the day before, I'd be spending the night, I wouldn't be driving back and forth, so. Is that allowable? Okay.
Driving
we-
back and
if we
forth or
approve it.
spending the night.
Spending the night. Cause they do have a hotel there.
Joe, are you going? Because if we go, we can play golf afterwards.
There are good workshops.
I will
there.
have to check my calendar. I plan on going, but that
Okay.
doesn't mean that I can. But I'll look.
Yeah, I ran into this one time many years ago, Side Light. They said I couldn't stay overnight.
It's a state
The course
rate.
I was taking was in Buffalo,
State rate, the spending rate.
so I just drove back and forth, 5 days.
It's only like a half hour, isn't it?
No,
Okay.
not for me.
It's a night.
For the Turning Stone?
It's an hour for me,
Yeah.
hour and
Is
15
it?
minutes.
Right.
Yeah, it's an hour.
So do we have a motion to approve, authorizing spending for the Tug Hill Commission?
I'll make that.
I'll second
Curcio,
Aye,
Crosser, Sereno,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Barney.
Aye. Okay. Budget modification related to court clerk salary increase, whereas the 2024 town justice budget incorporated training cost affiliated with the anticipated hiring of a new court clerk. Whereas the newly hired court clerk will not need to attend training as she has court clerk experience. Whereas the town board authorized the town board meeting held on November 21st, 2023, an increase in salary for the court clerk position in the 2024 budget from $6,396 to $8,396. Now therefore be it resolved that the following budget modification be made to accommodate aforementioned. Justice Personal Services Court Clerk increased by $2,000. Justice Contractual increase by $2,000. This resolution shall take effect immediately. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second
Curcio,
it. Aye,
Crosser,
Aye.
Sereno,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Barney.
Aye. Resolution 1 of 2024. Whereas the cooperative purchasing service is a plan of a number of public school districts in the Oswego County Board of Cooperative Educational Services area in New York, known as the Center for Instruction, Technology, and Innovation, CITI, to bid jointly equipment supplies and contractual items. And we're getting our fuel through there now. So we have a motion on resolution 1.
I'll make that motion that we approve up the resolution 1.
I'll second it.
Curcio,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
Spurino,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Barney.
Does anybody have anything on the reports, the monthly reports?
No dog report this week?
What's that?
No dog report, okay.
Okay. This time, we need, is there any other? Nothing else? Okay. We need a motion to enter into executive session to discuss a potential land acquisition.
Make
Oh.
that motion.
I'll second it.
Curcio,
Aye.
Foster, Spurino,
Aye.
Wilbur,
Aye.
Barney.
Aye. Herb?